Guys, I want to take a second. That call a while ago, the guy brought up something not about us, but just in general that I haven't touched on in a while around here, and I think it's time I touched on it again. I'm not seeing as much of it as I saw maybe 2 years ago. But there's a problem. Well, let me back up. Okay. All the data tells us that your ability to become successful, whether it's in wealth building or parenting or in your marriage or in your career, your ability to be successful ends up being heavily influenced by who you hang around with. We all know that we become who we hang around with. Like I was in New York City a while back and about 3 or 4 months ago doing a TV show up there, and I noticed that those people all have accents. You become who you hang around with. I mean, and if those Yankees move south, pretty soon we'll teach them how to talk, right? I mean, you become who you hang around with, don't you? If the kid down the street's misbehaving, little Johnny's a weed head, you don't let your kid run around little Johnny because you know your kid will be a weed head, right? And guess what? The same is true with you. You use the same good words and bad words that your friends use. You have a tendency to read the same books, see the same movies, live in similar properties with similar color on the walls. You tend to wear the same clothing that your friends wear. You tend to have the same beard treatment that your friends have if you do beard treatment. I got a bunch of hipsters working here, and they got all the beard treatment going on, so I make fun of them all the time because I'm old. I don't need a beard treatment. I just keep mine cut with some Sam's cutters. But you become who you hang around with, don't you? Now, you got to be careful with that because what happens is it affects your belief system as well. And so if you start hanging around with all the time people that believe that you can't get ahead, you ever hear people say things like, oh, you can't get ahead in America today. The little man can't make it in America today. You ever hear people say that? Of course, they always whine when they're saying it. I grew up with some people that acted like that. Oh, the little man can't get ahead. Well, the working man, the little man can't get ahead. I hope the president will fix everything for the little man, because the little man, and they always, it's like Eeyore is their spirit animal. They're waiting on some exterior force to fix their life. They watch the Lone Ranger and Batman too many times, and they think that the cavalry's actually coming. It's not. It's not coming. There's not an outside force that's going to fix your life. And, oh, by the way, there's not an outside force that's holding you back. 98% of the things that hold you back are between your freaking ears. It's your own decision that holds you back. It's our insecurities that we all have. It's our fears that we all have. It's our lack of work ethic that we all have. It's our lack of perseverance that we all have. And this is what holds us back. I was told when I got in radio that a Southern accent, you couldn't make it in talk radio. We're the third largest talk radio show in America. I was told in talk radio you couldn't make it if you weren't owned by one of the large corporate companies that owns all the radio stations. We're the third largest talk radio show in North America, and we own it. I was told that if you were going to make it in talk radio, you had to be in Los Angeles or New York to syndicate the show out of. I still live in Nashville. I like visiting LA and New York periodically, but the chance of me living in either one of those places is zero. Shoot me and get it over with. Seriously. I love you people that live there. I'm glad you like it. I'm not living there. Period. So that's it. And guess what? We're the third largest show in talk radio. I was told a self-published book can't make it, and I've sold millions and millions and millions of copies of self-published books. I was told ... There's always something. There's always somebody telling you can't make it because of your background, because of your history, because of your family, because of the color of your skin, because you're a woman, because you're a man, because you're from the South, because you're from the North, because you're an immigrant, because you're not an immigrant. You can't make it. There's always somebody that's got some excuse for you to not make it. Well, you don't understand. You got white privilege. Well, tell that to the two Ramsey personalities that are highly successful that are black. That would be Anthony O'Neill and Chris Hogan. Did anybody notice? No. Nobody gives a rip what your skin color is. There's a few idiots out there that are still prejudiced morons, But most people just care if you care, and if you care about them, and if you actually are competent at your job. That's what most people care about. And that's not white privilege. Ask Chris or ask Anthony. Oh, you can't make it if you're a woman. Oh, ask Rachel Cruz and Christy Wright, the other 2/3. Did you notice that there's 6 Ramsey personalities, including me, and only 2 white men in the bunch? That would be me and Chris Brown. You know? The rest of them are minorities just struggling along. They don't have any privilege. They just are highly successful, all. That's all. That's all. They're just, why? Because they're highly competent, they care, and they work with extreme diligence. And you can do that on the stage, off the stage, in the spotlight, not in the spotlight. And again, are there some idiots that won't let a lady speak somewhere? Yeah, there are. That's fine. That's fine. Are there some people that discriminate against me, won't let me speak in their church because I'm white? Yep. Now, you can count on it. That's happened before. I had one wouldn't let me speak because I wouldn't wear a tie because I don't own one. There you go. I'm tie. I have a tie inferiority complex now because I don't own a tie. Problem was I don't care. Because it's not relevant. You become who you hang around with. And if people tell you, oh, there's structural flaws with the economy. Oh, you have the deck stacked against you, so you can't make it. And these are people of influence in your life, and you begin to believe that politically correct garbage, then you will act on that belief, and you will therefore not be successful. So don't believe that. And if you're hanging around with too many people that talk and think that way, you're going to become one of them, and it's going to hamper your success. It's always interesting to me that one of these people who's not supposed to be able to make it, who believes in the political correct garbage, becomes successful. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to mentally process that. And so, because it's so inconsistent with their belief system. They weren't supposed to be able to make it, and yet they did make it. And so it screws up their brains. Let me just tell you, you got to be careful what you're feeding your brain on that stuff, because you become who you hang around with. And if you say, well, there's structural flaws with the economy and, you know, the stock market, the rate of return on the stock market, and you can't get a house in today's world, and, you know, you just, the chances to advance, and, you know, if you're 57 and you get laid off, you're just screwed because nobody hires anybody in their 50s. You know how much we age discriminate around here? 0. We hire people based on whether we think they can do the job. And part of whether we think they can do the job is, do they have Eeyore as their spirit animal? And so you come in here with your lip all stuck out, whining about your lot in life, I can pretty much freaking guarantee you we're not going to hire you. See, you just affected your future with your belief system. See how that works? It's very real. It's very, very dangerous. So when people start throwing sexism, racism, privilege, and those kinds of things around, be very careful who you're hanging around with, because it'll affect your ability to win if you believe that crap. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.